Hey Greg, let's talk bourbon. All right, down to the finals. So today we're going to figure out what is the best small batch, core release, cask strength or full proof bottle that I own of bourbon, specifically bourbon. So this all started a few weeks ago when I did a review of Frey Ranch Farm Strength Uncut. And I really thought this was great. It had a very strong nose, a very strong palate. It had a honey or honeycomb sort of, that was very forward with that. I had a few other notes in there. Really good stuff. And I was thinking to myself during that review, I don't know if this is the best bottle I own because I've got a lot of, LEs and single barrels around here. But after all, this is just, core release, small batch, right? But I'm thinking to myself, maybe this is the best bottle that is of a core release, that's small batch, cask strength, that I own, right? So I decided to do a blind, and it turned out I had 12 such bottles on my shelves. And so I took those 12 bottles and I divided them up into two groups of 6. I did one blind with 6 of them, and I took the top 2 bottles and moved them forward into the blinds, and then I did the other 6 and moved the top 2 into the blind, into the finals. And so then today I've got those 4 bottles here in front of me, and we're gonna see who wins. Now, the first blind, I had, this was the winner and this was runner up, but I was debating exactly which order to put these 2 in. So I'm not sure if I really necessarily would call this one first. Today I might decide that this one, or perhaps even this one or this one, is the best. I will also say that in that first blind, Wild Turkey Rare Breed was in that first blind, and it was a really close third. And I really had a hard time with all 3 of them, and I decided to put this one out and then try to decide who's the winner here. And so because I thought that the Rare Breed was so good, it's such a close third, I decided to add it to the other blind of 6. So I actually did that one 7 wide. And it had some, some good bottles in there, including Larceny. And I thought Larceny was going to be in these finals here. It ended up finishing 6th in that blind. 6th. It just blew me away. Because I've always thought Larceny was like one of my best cask strength bottles that I had. I was really surprised that it got knocked out. In fact, I was really surprised that it finished 6th. So that blind, these 2 ended up finishing 1st and 2nd, and they're both really good. In fact, I did a lot of debating back and forth to try to figure out which one I was going to put in 1st and which one I was going to put in 2nd. So, in my opinion, these are all really pretty close. I did discover that this one is indeed, has a stronger nose and a stronger palate, than the others. And maybe that'll make a difference. But, not necessarily, because there are some other notes in this besides the honeycomb that, maybe I like it, maybe I don't. Some of these others I think may be more well-balanced than the Frey Ranch. We're going to find that out. So just to tell you what else we got going on here. So the Rare Breed here is a $46 bottle. The 1792 is a $52 bottle. The Maker's Mark 46 is a $65 bottle, and the Frey Ranch was an $80 bottle. And proof-wise, Wild Turkey is $117. 1792 is $125. The Maker's Mark is only $111, and the Frey Ranch is $122. So they're all up there, but the Maker's Mark is a little bit less in proof. Whether that will play out in it being a little softer, I don't know. We'll find out. So there we go. Let's get into this blind. I've got these labeled here as like 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I've got my 4 glasses already all mixed up over here that have corresponding stickers on the bottom that I can't see. I don't see anything when I look in the glass. And we're going to go. I'm going to refer to these glasses as A through D. Glass A. It's a moderately strong nose. Smells like a nice bourbon. Boy, you know, I mean, I get the caramel, maybe a little vanilla. Maybe a touch of fruit, not a lot of fruit. But then there's a fair amount of that spice and maybe a touch of breadiness. Yeah, I would say there's a little bit of breadiness in this. But I don't know, not much fruit. I think in that category, there's just not a lot there. There's a little something there. And not enough for me to really put a finger on what fruit it might be. All right, Glass B. That's a nice nose. Smells a little oaky. In fact, it smells like it might be French oak. Smells really nice. What other attribute? I mean, it seems like there's a little bit of spice in the back end, but not a lot. This one was spicier. In terms of the strength of the nose, it seemed about the same. Yeah, it's also got a lot of like vanilla, a lot of vanilla. Do I get a little hazelnut? Maybe a little nutmeg. All right. Glass C. Stronger nose than the first two. Honeysuckle. Yeah, there's some floral notes to this. Hence the honeysuckle. Maybe some cloves. Something else too that I'm just not quite able to put a finger on. Really good though. Really good. All right. Glass D. Not as strong of a nose, but it seems that it's about the same strength of nose as the first two. Sweet. I get some vanilla. Yeah, a lot of vanilla. Maybe a little pear. And I think there's some spice in the background, but it's real light. It's a real light in notes. Bourbon there. All right. Let's go back through them on the palate, shall we? Glass A. This is the breadier one. Tasty. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's got the caramel. It's got that breadiness. And it's got a fair amount of spice on the back. So all the things that I had mentioned on the nose, they're all there on the palate. Maybe a touch of vanilla. Not picking up any fruit. I know I was debating whether there was fruit on the nose. Not really picking up any fruit. It's mostly the caramel, vanilla, spice, breadiness. Those are the major notes for me. Glass B. Oh yeah. I'd be surprised if this wasn't the French oak. It's got that vanilla. Sometimes I get, I don't know, there's a little bit of breadiness there. Almost maybe also a little touch of marshmallow, just a touch. Like an oakiness as well. More than just, oak spice, like the baking spice. But this, you actually kind of get a bit of that woodiness to it, It's good. It's tasty. Just as strong a palate as the first glass. All right. Glass C. That's a good nose. Wow. So the nose is stronger in C. The palate is stronger. Nice honeysuckle. There's also a creaminess. Now, creaminess kind of lends itself to thinking about a honeycomb, right? Cloves. There is more. It's almost like a hay or straw. I know it's a weird note. I don't know if I've ever really used that note for anything else. But that's what I get. I would say more of a, as opposed to straw, I would say more of a hay, like a sweet hay, like a fresh cut hay. I don't know how many of you have ever spent time on a farm. I did not grow up on a farm. I grew up in the city, but I had in a very small city, and I had a lot of friends who lived on farms. And being in this little town, driving through the countryside all the time, and kind of reminds me of when the farmer's out there cutting the hayfield, As far as like baking spices, the oak spice, not much. Just a touch in the back. Very little. It's a very tasty glass. It's also very different. So, it stands out. Glass D, being that it's following Glass C, it always seems to be a little weak. I suspect it's not, that it's more on par with these two. It's just coming off of Glass C, it seems to pale, right? But I gotta say though, the palate is right there though. The palate is not weak at all. The nose isn't nearly as strong as C, but the palate's right there. Vanilla, caramel, cinnamon. I think I said hazelnut before. There might be. I think I also said nutmeg. I don't know if I get the hazelnut on the nose. I don't know if I really get hazelnut on the palate. I do get the nutmeg on the palate that I had mentioned earlier. Really tasty. Really quite tasty. And then, of course, this one does have a little bit of baking spice in the background, a little bit more than C. Not nearly as much as A. A is the spicy one here. It's good. They're all good. Of course, they wouldn't be here if they weren't good. Very different glasses. Unfortunately, I think I know which one is which. That's the problem with the fact that I know which bottles are in here. So that's why I love to do the double blinds, so I don't even know what bottles are in. But, since I've been doing these blinds the last few weeks, I'm really quite familiar with these bottles right now. And I'll just throw it out there. Why not? I'll probably be wrong. I've been shown to be wrong before, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I think it's 1792. I think it's Maker's Mark, Frey Ranch, and Rare Breed. That's what I think it is. That being said, I can't stop my mind thinking that way, right? I can't stop it from doing that. But I'm going to, not judge it based on some idea of, oh, well, I want that one to win. No, I'm going to try to be fair here. And to be honest with you, I like them all. And the one that maybe I'm not liking as much is A, because of the spice level. I think I've mentioned that in other videos, that I have a tendency in blinds, as I've noticed, watching myself do these videos, right? That I tend to go for the sweet ones and not for the spicy ones. For better or worse, right? You at home might feel the other way. Maybe you really like that oaky spiciness. I like it, but when I put it up against something sweeter, I tend to go for the sweeter one. Anyways, I got to now figure out which glass I'm going to eliminate. What's interesting is I did glass A first. I only took one sip. There wasn't a lot of spice in the one sip, right? So at least it's not like overly spicy. Though I hate it when you got one where one sip and boom, you get a blast of spice. I don't mind it so much if like the first sip is really not very spicy at all, and then the second sip's a little spicier, and then the third sip starts to really get into the spice. I don't mind that in a bourbon. After all, you can always take a sip of water and kind of reset the palate, and then you kind of start over, right? And the legs on all of these all got great legs. And what I suspected earlier, if I take C out of it, right, I was just going back and forth without C. And indeed, glasses A, B, and D are all about the same level of nose and about the same level of palate in terms of just strength. It's just that when you try one of these glasses after having C, which is so much stronger, that the others kind of, whatever's next, it kind of pales. Which is why I have been putting the Frey Ranch ahead in other ones, right? And maybe that'll happen today. Maybe I'll just decide it's not great. On the other hand, there are some of those weird notes in that Frey Ranch, or the glass C. I'm telling you, I know it's Frey Ranch. It's kind of unmistakable. That like hay note, and sometimes I know another time I was drinking it, I was thinking it kind of more or less moved into like a silage note. And did I want silage as it wasn't the predominant note. It wasn't silage forward. It was honey forward. But there's just something about it that's while I really enjoy it and it's a really, really great bottle, I don't know if that's a winning bottle. Which is what we're here to figure out. That's good. And so is that. And so is that. Wow. Okay. Well, I gotta tell you, C is pretty awesome. It really is. C is pretty awesome. C is not going to be the first out. I doubt it'll be the second out. I'm telling you, I don't know if I'm right or not. I won't know until the end. But whatever C is, you got to have a bottle of it. You really do. It's really good. It's different. It's strong. And not strong in a bad way. It's not proofy. It's just a strong nose. And it's a strong palate. And it just kind of overwhelms anything it's next to. I don't know. I've got, I don't know, 120. I'm not like some of these, guys that have, 3,000 bottles. I think I got about 100 bottles of bourbon and, I don't know, 25 bottles of rye and another 20 bottles of scotch. And so I don't have a ton, but what I do have, I always go for the best stuff, right? I've got higher end, I've got a fair amount of higher end stuff here. And, wow. There's nothing I have that's quite like what this Glass C is. That doesn't mean it's the best, because there are some odd notes to it. I was sharing back to the fact that, I had said that I think it's Frey Ranch. Glass C, that is. I was sharing this bottle with my brother this weekend, and my son and his friends and anybody else who wanted to drink it. And my brother had said that he thought it was, that note back there was vegetative, is the word he used. I think it just kind of slipped into that. That hay note that I had earlier, the more I drink it, the more it kind of becomes more, I don't know. I think my brother's word of vegetative kind of works. But it still is really strong with the, with the honey, with the honeysuckle, with the cloves. Anyways, that's not the first out. It's probably not the second out. We got to figure out how this is going to go. This is really hard. These are all really good bottles. Today, I think I'm right now enjoying A more than D. And if my guesses were correct, that would mean that I'm reversing what I did in the previous video and saying that the 1792 is better. I don't know. I'm going to take a few more sips here. I'm also going to throw this Glass B in here. I will say that this is really, really nice. Really well balanced, this Glass B. It's got that French oak flavor, right? Vanilla. Mostly vanilla with, like, I don't know, a little marshmallow and a little oakiness. But at the same time, it doesn't have as much pizzazz as some of these other glasses. I'm almost thinking that the Glass A, which I'm really enjoying at the moment, which has a little bit more oak to it, oak spice, it's just feeling more zippy to me. All right. A little more cheese. See, you go for D first. That's a really, really nice pour. That's tasty. And I'm liking that 8. All right, I got to call it. I got to put something out first. And if I have these, if I'm correct in what these are, then I am messing with my results from the previous videos. But today, I got to go with what I taste now, right? I call balls and strikes. I just call it as I see it. And today, I think glass B is a little bland compared to the others. I really like the French oak. Or at least that's what I perceive it to be. Boy, if I'm wrong about that, I've said it so many times, I'm going to look like an idiot, right? Hey, that's how it goes. I don't edit my videos like that. I don't. If I just totally screw up on something, I just go ahead and publish it. That's how it goes. That's the way I see it. I'm not trying to be Mr. Perfect here. I'm certainly not a professional. I'm just a guy who owns a lot of really nice bottles. And right now I happen to be doing the core release stuff. But lately I have been accumulating a lot of really nice single barrels, a lot of really nice LEs. And you're going to start seeing some of those in some more of my videos. Not that I have a ton, I just pick up what I pick up and that's what I get. But I go for the better stuff. And wow, I'm thinking that Glass B is going out in 4th place. Because to me, as I just said, it's just not zippy compared to the other ones. It's nice. Smooth. It's probably the smoothest glass of all these glasses. It's probably the smoothest. Maybe second smoothest would be Glass D, but it's just not popping for me. All right, let's move up. Wow, it's just so hard. This Glass C is just so good. It's not just that it's stronger. It's lovely. Oh my God. Oh, the honey, the honeysuckle, the cloves are just fantastic. Fantastic. And then you get that sense of farmland, which I think, comes from that hay note that I was talking about. Oh. Wow. Wow. Yeah, and then now I go back to Glass A and Glass D, and they just don't smell as good as they just did a few minutes ago. Oh. I hate to say it. I know the winner, which I just told you, and I'm just trying to figure out second and third. What am I supposed to do? It's that good. It's that good. Really nice, really sweet. Love that. I told you before, during blinds, I tend to like the sweet ones. There is a bit of an off-putting note starting to develop a sour, bitter, kind of oaky note in the back of the palate. It's light. It's not predominant, but it's starting to develop. It's starting to be there. All right, let's put an end to this because I know the answer. It's good. And I'm messing up everything I did in the previous two videos, but I'm going to put D in third. I'm going to put A in second, and I'm going to put C in first. So there it is. I'm just calling them the way I see them today. Now, let's see if I am totally screwed and embarrassed myself here with this video. Let's see if I have these glasses right. I hate it that I do that. I hate it that my mind in the background is thinking about, oh, well, I think that's this bottle. I think that's that bottle. And a lot of times, you know, when I'm doing bottles that I haven't taken off the shelf in a while, I get it wrong. But these I've been playing with lately, and, you know, I've been drinking them. And, you know, I just opened this a couple weeks ago, and we've had quite a bit of it already. And I don't know. Plus, they're pretty distinctive. You know, there's distinctively different notes about each of these bottles. So, here we go. This is the one that to me smells like French oak. In fourth place, glass number 3, which is indeed the 46. Number 3. Remember, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So, in third place, the one that I think is sweeter, doesn't have as much spice, therefore I think it's rare breed. Number one. Indeed, it's rare breed. Let's pull them back a little bit so you can see it better. There we go. All right. In second place, the one that was a little spicier, but not too spicy. And I just thought today had a lot of pop to it and was well-rounded, and I just was really enjoying it. Glass A. Indeed, it's number 2, 1792. And in first place, by process of elimination, number 4, Frey Ranch. So there we go. I don't even think it was close. I really enjoy all 4 of these bottles. These are really good bottles. I think everybody should own all 4 of these bottles. They're really good. You won't be disappointed with any of them. That being said, Frey Ranch is that good. It just overwhelms the rest of them. It is so good. It does have a little bit of different notes to it. It's not your standard bourbon. Like I said, honeysuckle, cloves, and hay. I don't know how you feel about hay as a note, but it's really, it's just in the background, and it's just fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. So there you go. This is the finals. This is how it turned out. That Frey Ranch is indeed my best small batch, core release, cask strength bottle. There you go. Peace out.